All right. How's it going, everybody? Back with next episode. Speak Up Sal. Feels good to be here. Feels good to be doing this again. I will say, honestly and truthfully, before I went to work today, about 2 o'clock, I recorded this episode. It was about 18 minutes, and I did uh, a little bit of my spiritual practice. I found some spiritual guidance, and I did it on on camera. Like I didn't set my intentions or anything beforehand, but I just shuffled the cards and explained the point of these and drew two. So I'll pick out and show you the two that I got earlier. And I think it'll actually be good that I've already talked about this one. So I recorded for about 17, 18 minutes again earlier this morning, came out super choppy. The video quality was like, video and audio was not usable, just completely trashed. And it was a shame. I think I just had too many things running on my computer at once. And, lesson learned. It is what it is. I turned some of the quality down, in terms of like the rendering settings. The audio bitrate and stuff I kept the same. Anyway, I won't bore you with the tech stuff behind it, but basically a part of my spiritual journey and something that I have been diving into the unknown for the past few years is oracle cards. I have mentors, I have like spiritual guides and people that like have taught me to meditate stuff. So that self really helpful, but led me down the path of oracle cards. And oracle and tarot cards are often seen in a negative light, I believe. I feel like people are like, oh, you're a witch, or oh, you are hooked on Snapchat astrology. That's what they would say about people in our generation. But you go into it open-minded, you understand that it's not like these cards will predict the future. It's not like they're going to tell you what is right and what is wrong. It just gives you guidance, gives you a little push forward and positivity. It's the best way I can put it. Sorry, I keep clicking the case for it. And there's also Lola Bears right next to me, little golden retriever. If she stays here, she'll be my outro. She'll say goodbye to everyone. And yeah, anyway, here we go. So, this is the box I use. Collette Baron-Reid is an excellent scholar and very reliable source to get some very like unbiased, neutral, spiritual guidance. Lessons that you can learn, and just like so today, what I did is I set a daily intention. I did that part off camera. I just like sat there and breathed for a few minutes and kind of cleared my mind, and then like told the cards, if you will, told the cards. It's how I describe it. What I want to gain from them today. And what I wanted to gain from them, basically, in a simpler form, is show me that I'm on the right path. Show me that this podcast, me working hard on it, is going to be worth it. And like, what in my personal life could I share that could eventually be helpful to other people as well. So basically, this is the deck of cards. It's beautiful artwork, on the insides and stuff for everything. But the cards, this is one of my favorites. This is the one I've been using steady for about 5-6 months. The cards I got, you sit there, you shuffle them. Sometimes something will pop up. Sometimes you can just pick one blindly. But both of them popped out as I was talking, shuffled them. First one came, which is really funny. But let me slow my thoughts for a second. Notice how every time I do this, because this won't be the only time I do this, they're so prevalent in my recent and future life. Everything that I'm doing, and if you ask honestly and listen openly, all these cards have always correlated to what is going on around me in my environment, my emotions and everything. And it's just like even diving into the unknown, things I don't know, it really helps me learn about them and process them and understand them and go through life feeling better, feeling positive, feeling healed, if you will. Generational healing is a big part of this as well, and that's a topic I'm eventually going to touch on. If you don't know what it is, maybe take some time to read about it before I get that episode out. Very interesting thing. It's very important to live a life that has that as a desire. Yeah. Anyway, to talking about, the introduction. As soon as I start shuffling, this pops out. I have multiple decks of cards that have this type of card. It's called a tidy house. Sometimes it's called a clean house in your oracle deck. And it's really about cleaning your mind, body, and soul. Get the clutter out of your life, whether that's physical or emotional clutter. Or sometimes it's even like cutting ties with bad friends or bad connections. Clean out the negativity so that you can make room for positivity. It's the best way I could put it. Now, also had this problem earlier. I don't really know where to set these. Let me right here. I should get like a little card holder. This is all a work in progress. Figure it out. And then this is the second card I got. Deep diver. Diving into a task. Even with just common knowledge, you can already kind of tell what that's going to be about. I'm not going to get into that just yet. So first thing I want to talk about is the tidy house. I would like to basically, you get this book with it. I would like to read its little prompt and its little bit of advice. And I already know there's one word I can't pronounce, so I'm going to skip it. It's the best part about recording this the second time. The tidy house. Clarity, organization, thorough inventory, auspicious symbol. I looked it up after. I was nervous doing that. Okay. Sorry, being silly. Here we go. If your emotional world feels messy and unruly, then you can't seem to get clear. It's time to see how your environment is affected. Although your inner world has a huge impact on what shows up in your outer world, the reverse is also true. You can be influenced by the people who populate your daily life and the energy of the objects you surround yourself with. Basically everything in your surroundings. Now is the time for an inventory and full clearing of your environment. Ask for clarity from your relationships, and do not make assumptions at this time. Clear and unambiguous communication is key. You may choose to let go of some people from your life when this shows up. This is a good thing. Otherwise, you might stay in these relationships too long out of sense of obligation and social courtesy, when in the truth there is nothing holding you together. Be impeccable with your word. Say what you mean. And be willing to make whatever changes are necessary to clean your side of the street. If you know you are doing the right thing, it doesn't matter who has an opinion. That said, right now, once you are sure your proverbial house is a tidy one. Sorry. That said, right now, once you are sure your proverbial house is a tidy one, there is a release of energy to begin new things, to enjoy life, and to know with certainty you are on the right path. That honestly feels even better reading it the second time. Everything in life happens for a reason. I'm glad that last episode was corrupted, and like just glitchy and whatever. Reading that again now, it realizes how much more prevalent, helpful it is to life. I'll show you guys. Again, sorry for those people on Spotify. I hope I could be able to get video on there one day like Joe Rogan, but a later problem. So I feel like a lot of people I know and can relate to, and a lot of people of my age can learn from just even hearing this, because we all struggle with a lot of different individual mental issues. And whether big or small, a lot of times that leads us to live in a unclean environment, whether that's, physical or emotional objects. If your room's messy, your laundry's all over the floor, whatever it is, or emotional, where like you've got unsettled, conversations and arguments, unhealthy mindsets and unhealthy physical habits, all these things. If you can hear something say that at the time you need it, it might just be a thing that help you break that cycle and push forward and move to that better diet, move to like start working out every day. Or for me, jump to this podcast and do something that I love, which, we're going to get to in the next card, which is really, really interesting. And also yesterday, I was very fortunate to have a day off on Memorial Day and spent all day cleaning. I really cleaned up my life in this little apartment that I'm just moving into, finished the nursery, cleaned, did everything, washed all the baby girl's clothes, and with the help of my wonderful wifey, and then set up my computer and got to this right after. I had to tidy my house before I could dive deep. For those of you who didn't see me, cards up on Spotify, I'm sorry. I'm gonna figure this out, I promise. But I had to tidy my house to dive deep. Maybe you do too. Everybody does a little bit. I don't say that in a negative or like mean or demanding way. I say it in a I'm here to help and I understand kind of way. Because the one important thing about communication is understanding that we all can communicate. The power of language is incredible. If I can share this information, me saying, clean your damn room, metaphorically, emotionally, and physically, I mean it well. Like I mean well for the people I care about and for, anybody listening to this. It's a very important thing that I wish I figured out sooner. I'm very happy that I am learning it now, and I want to live my life guided by positivity. Because this isn't like a solve all. This isn't like here's the answer to everything, blah blah blah. It's very open-minded, very, very opening to your soul and your spirit, your emotional awareness and intelligence. Yeah. These are all very, very important things. I'm trying to spread the positivity. So before I go any further, let's talk about the second card, Deep Diver. They also have numbers. I don't know if I said that earlier, but Tidy House 1 was the first card in the deck, also the first one to pop out. And then Deep Diver is a 10. So some people even look into the significance of the numbers. Like if I drew card 3 and 28, my birthday, the angel numbers, your guardian angel watching over you, and all those other things. So it's not, and like numerology, I believe it's called. It's not something I know a lot about. So I won't touch on it a ton. I'll definitely talk about when numbers show up in my life a lot, but let's talk about this card. So Deep Diver is about diving into a task. Clearly, all I've done for the past 2 days is podcast stuff. It'll work. Yeah. 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 Deep dive. Embracing risk, diving into a task, and new discoveries. It's easy to play in the shallows where the waters are clear and you can see all that glitters by your feet. Anyone can venture here. There is little risk, nothing to discover, no dark secret, nothing that you can't already perceive. The treasure has long been picked away, replaced by a gentle certainty. And the shallow river is safety and no surprises. But that's not who's calling you now. The deep diver invites you to take a plunge with him. You can't see the bottom, but you must swim into the dark depths to find the mystery that eludes you now. He knows where the pearls lie underneath the ancient sands. You are called to look beyond the surface of things for your answer. Let your intuition propel you into the water, allowing your memories to swirl around you and your emotions to well up as you face the unknown. Your curiosity will be great. Your curiosity will be your greatest guide. You'll surely discover something wondrous to bring back to everyone who is wadding by the shore. But only you will truly know the value of your discovery. Are you willing to do the work? Dive in and make the commitment to see it through, and you'll be amazed. Yeah, that's even better the first time, or second time. Sorry. That's just awesome. It's exactly what I needed to hear because I was a little worried about doing this. I'm worried about like my ability to stick to it and, try and remain consistent, positive, and hopeful and just helpful. But that really helped me today. And honestly, to go to work and think about it and then come back here and just relax for a little while and reflect on it. And it feels even more important now. So the part that I think is really nice is dive in and make the commitment to see it through. That was the part that gave me the confidence to keep going. I feel like a lot of people could benefit from that if they see that in the time they need it. Also, I like the analogy of playing in the shallows as opposed to diving in the deep. Diving into the unknown is something I've said before and I've heard a lot of recently, and just being okay with not knowing everything that's going to happen tomorrow, the next day, it's your life. It's okay. We're taught that it's not, but it is to some degree, especially in terms of emotional strain in life, physical stress. Like everything is going to be okay. That's the beauty of diving into the unknown. You can accept those things and just wait to see what's ahead. It becomes a lot easier when you can see living in a life of unknown is the journey. It is a good path to be on. A lot of positivity there. Yeah, it's basically where I was at with those two cards. I talked a little better. I talked a little more in detail about what those cards were and how it related to my life, because reading them again that second time really was helpful. And I also had a better understanding of it. Sometimes these things can take a little bit of time. You got to sit on it. Sometimes I'd like to do it before bed or in the morning. And then if I do it in the morning, I'll come back and read the same cards that I got this morning in bed. So it is it's just about putting that positivity in your life. It's only helpful things. So if you surround yourself with just like good people, if you surround yourself with good information, good knowledge, and good faith, it's going to be a recipe for success. Whatever you're doing, it's just a very helpful way to live life. Definitely combined with the therapy I've taken, this has been really an interesting journey. It's a lot more open-ended and open-minded. I know I've said that a couple times, but it's been very nice. It's been very interesting. I don't have too much more to talk about these. I guess I could do one more live right now before I go. Well, live, if you will. I feel bad that the recording erased my earlier. You're recording before work today. Sorry, I am getting a little tired. Midnight right now. Or I might be that. Yeah, I usually just like sit here, do this for a little bit. Just say that. 16. Empty well. Time to replenish. This one's about, refueling that energy. Time to fuel your mind, body, and soul with the things it needs to feel replenished. It also starts with a 1. All 3 of my cards. 1, 10, 16. I guess I could look that up. The angel number 111 means any way, shape, or form. Excuse me. We are cancer. Empty well, nothing here. Time to replenish. Diminishing yourself for another. The empty well reveals that there is nothing here for you. The well is dry and the desert is encroaching on your once fertile garden. It is time to face this harsh reality and move on. Give gratitude and thanks for the abundance that you have experienced, and let spirit guide you to your next destination. It means saying goodbye to someone or something, or insisting on changing the rules of the game. Stop diminishing yourself for the sake of another. Making yourself small will not produce the results you want. There's a lack of reciprocity, of give and take. I'm really not a good reader. The fact that I even can read this is impressive to me. The empty well tells you that it's time to reclaim what is yours and return what does not belong to you. The shadow casts in your direction are not where you're making. Not of your making. You do not need to react to or respond to them. as they are not real. Simply shine your light upon them and see how it dispels them. These shadows are projections that you are confusing for reality. You may have been offered a shovel to help dig yourself out of an uncomfortable situation, a bucket to drink from the well, but you cannot dig yourself out of this hole. And remember that there is no water to be found in that well. Receiving the empty well as a gift, do not exert your energy and waste your resources by repairing the walls or mending the road. Follow the water course way, the aquifers that run deep in the earth. You'll be led to a new spring oasis. You can find these underground streams, these rich natural resources, in the subterranean depths of your own. Wow. Neat. Interesting. I feel like that appeals more to the emotional side than the physical, as opposed to like deep divers talking about diving into a task that is a physical thing. And then the empty well is time to replenish. And that's more like an internal and emotional thing. I'll show you guys this picture one more time. Yeah, that's really cool. I feel like it's something I don't do a lot of. So whenever I get this one, which I've gotten before, it's always a good one. I feel like I go into the next day or two with some more energy. I'll go to bed early the next night, make sure I'm taking care of myself, like physically and emotionally. I feel like I have had to learn the lesson of the empty well too many times in life. Letting go of people that were not positive in my life, talking about this card again, the tidy house. Both of those say that. So that's really interesting. I feel like I didn't have to do emotional cleaning this time I got this card. I had to do physical cleaning. And then empty well is like, I'm still in the stage of replenishing from, the ties I've had to cut, from the empty wells I've been feeding into, or living in, if you will. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's very interesting. Do a little, I don't have a producer like Jamie on Joe Rogan Experience, so I guess I could look up. Spiritually. Number 111 in numerology is a very spiritual nature. It has been seen as the inspirational number and is often associated with the arts. Hmm. I mean, podcasts? Let's see. A person with this number is a creative soul and will be drawn to the arts. This person does have an idealistic side and can be very emotional. When he or she loves what they do, they will do it so passionately. Huh? They have meanings in the Bible. Symbol of the sky. They use sky images now. Actually, quite the opposite. Interesting. Cool. Means manifestation and prosperity. It promotes spiritual awakening, urgency, and confirmation. Ooh, sweet. Sick. Awesome. Well, that was a wonderful night. That was a wonderful time. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. I know it might be a little bit different than what a lot of you were expecting, but this is something that's very important. So I hope you learn from it. I hope you benefit from it. And anybody who knows me personally, or if you don't, I'm sure my contact information is somewhere on here. I'd be happy to talk to you about it, send you the links to get you started, if you will, show you my personal recommendations. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Speak Up Sal. I'm still not used to saying that. That's wild to me. But thank you guys. Appreciate it. Till next time.